What is going on, you guys? It is that time again for another player error project. This time we're going to be doing Mr. Drew Pearson. He's kind of had a rough go at it to get to the Hall of Fame, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But he played 11 seasons, all with the Dallas Cowboys. Three-time Pro Bowl. His three-time Pro Bowls were also three-time All-Pro. One-time Super Bowl champion and a member of the 1970s All-Decade team. And that's kind of what I want to talk about. At his time of induction, which was this year, the 2021 class, he was the last member of the 1970s All-Decade team that has not been inducted in the Hall of Fame. And if memory serves me right, that was by 2 years, meaning there was two guys, but the other guy got inducted 2 years ago. I could be wrong. But the Super Bowl team that he was on, all the big wigs on that team were already inducted. And I remember last year when the results came out, they had ESPN had a crew in his living room because everyone just knew he was going to be selected that year, and he wasn't. And he was visibly upset, and he was, you could see him getting pretty emotional, and after that wore off, then he was pissed. And he probably had every right to. You could find that clip on the old YouTube. He had every right to be pissed. You know what I mean? When you're the only member of the 1970s All-Decade team, and then you're also the last member of your Super Bowl team, as far as the big wigs, the big guys on the team, to be selected, it's kind of like unjust. You know, it's like you busted your ass and you're not getting credit. So I could definitely see the frustration. But as a Hall of Fame collector, the thing that I thought was the coolest is it pissed him off. And it pissed him off because it meant something to him. You know what I mean? You don't get upset by stuff that doesn't mean anything to you. And so you could tell he really wanted it. And you can see every year, and it doesn't matter what Hall of Fame you follow, baseball, basketball, football, hockey, whatever. You can tell some of the guys it doesn't mean as much to as some of these older players. And I think it's really cool that the Veterans Committee, that's how he got in, that the Veterans Committee over the past 4 or 5 years have really made a lot of wrongs right. The last one that comes to my mind that they really hit the nail on the head was Mr. Jerry Kramer. He was the last badass, if you will, from the Packer dynasty, from the Lombardi dynasty back in the day. And they finally fixed that. And now I feel like they finally fixed this one with Mr. Pearson. Hopefully someone like Mr. Maxie Bohan will get in before too long. I feel like he's kind of been overlooked so many times. But let's get into this, because this pre-workout is about to make my face itch clean off my body. It's just so tasty. It feels so good on your lips. So we'll go ahead and get into this. I'm not going to turn the camera around. I'm just too damn lazy today to do that. So first off, we'll start with the 1975 Topps rookie card. Get it here nice and close so you can see that glare. It's something I really pride myself on my channel as having, you know, the worst glare out there. So you see this one's inscribed original 88. And if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan or maybe a Hall of Fame guy, you'll know that Michael Irvin was also number 88. And they're both wide receivers on the Cowboys. So it's probably a little fun poking at each other, or him poking at Irvin with the original 88. And then we'll get into the fat stack here. I actually had to buy 2 of the cards just last week. And it's kind of silly because one of the cards I bought was the 1975 that I just showed you, because I had this one in the monster behind me. I didn't think I had one, so I bought this one. But nonetheless, it's never a bad thing to have multiple signed Hall of Fame rookies. Here's another. This is going to be the 1976. Look at that fro, would you? You got 2 of those bad boys. And this one has the Cowboys Ring of Honor inscription in the blue Sharpie. And then this was, yeah, this was the other one I purchased. This was the 1978 Topps. And what's funny is I've been TTMing Drew Pearson for probably 3 or 4 years. Send him a couple a year here and there. And when he got selected, I was like, oh man, maybe I have enough for a player error project. I didn't know if I had all his stuff or not. And so when I looked, those were the two I was missing. But really, the only one I was missing was this guy. You know, I didn't know at the time. But so that is that. Moving on to the 79. That has some paper loss right there in the middle. And a lot of these could be upgraded, no doubt about it. And there's some that have some major creases. But that's perfectly fine. You know, these aren't going anywhere anytime soon. 1980 Topps with the Ring of Honor inscription. And I think, you know, going back to what I said about, you know, he was angry and upset about not being selected to the Hall of Fame, and you could tell being selected would have meant something to him. I mean, here's another one, 1981 Topps. You know, he's inscribing Ring of Honor. You know, obviously these accolades mean something to him. So I think that's just super cool. 82. And none of the ones that I have, here's the 83, none of the cards I have a Hall of Fame inscription, which is fine for now. I wouldn't want to upgrade the whole set to that. I mean, in a perfect world, if money wasn't a thing, would I do that? Yes. Here's this last one. Here's this last player era card. You know, if money wasn't an object, would I do that? Absolutely. But there's no need to do that. I would, however, like to get an upgrade on his 75 Topps rookie card. I think it would be really cool to have the Hall of Fame inscription in blue, maybe with even the original 88. I think that's really cool to have on there. So that is that. That is the Drew Pearson player era Hall of Fame project. Long overdue for Mr. Pearson to get in the Hall of Fame. Super happy for him that he finally got the call to the Hall. So till next time, adios, be safe, bye-bye, doodles.